Have you ever wondered what would happen if the real horror wasn't a monster, a ghost, or a serial killer, but the healthcare system itself? That's exactly the terrifying question explored in The Terror, Devil in Silver, and trust me, this series is far more disturbing than most traditional horror shows. At first glance, you might think this is just another entry in the Terror franchise. But instead of taking viewers into a frozen wasteland or a supernatural nightmare, Devil in Silver drags us into something much more familiar and much more uncomfortable. The setting is New Hyde Hospital, a psychiatric facility that's supposed to help vulnerable people. Instead, it quickly becomes clear that the institution itself may be the biggest threat. One of the show's most powerful strengths is that it doesn't try to hide its message. Right from the beginning, viewers are confronted with the shocking realities of an underfunded mental health care system. When a mattress becomes covered in blood, the staff's solution isn't to replace it. They simply flip it over and move on. Their reasoning? That's all they can afford. It's a small moment, but it perfectly captures the larger problem the show wants to expose. The neglect doesn't stop there. Patients are served meals so inadequate that one of them jokes there's more nutrition in the spoon than in the actual food. The line is funny at first, but it quickly becomes depressing when you realize it's not much of an exaggeration. Throughout the series, moments like these remind viewers that the people inside these institutions are often treated as numbers rather than human beings. At the center of the story is Dan Stevens, who delivers another compelling performance. Stevens has built a reputation for taking on unusual and challenging roles, and here he fully commits to the emotional and psychological complexity of the character. As he navigates the chaos of New Hyde Hospital, viewers experience the confusion, fear, and frustration that comes with being trapped inside a broken system. What makes the show particularly effective is its ability to blend psychological horror with social commentary. The scares aren't always coming from dark hallways or mysterious creatures. Instead, they emerge from everyday situations that feel painfully realistic. The horror comes from seeing vulnerable people ignored. It comes from watching administrators prioritize budgets over patients. It comes from realizing that the people responsible for helping others may actually be contributing to their suffering. There's also a powerful moment involving a police officer who has spent years dropping troubled individuals at New Hyde as an alternative to jail. At first, he views the facility as a solution. But after witnessing how patients are treated, his perspective completely changes. His outrage becomes one of the audience's strongest emotional connections to the story. When he finally calls out the administration, it's a moment that feels earned because viewers have already seen the same failures and injustices unfold. What separates The Terror, Devil in Silver from many modern horror series is that it understands horror isn't always supernatural. Sometimes the most frightening stories are rooted in reality. Mental health care shortages, overcrowded facilities, lack of funding, and institutional neglect are not fictional problems. They're issues affecting countless people every day, and the show uses its narrative to shine a spotlight on them. At the same time, this isn't simply a lecture disguised as television. The series still delivers suspense, tension, mystery, and plenty of unsettling moments. The atmosphere constantly keeps viewers on edge. You never know whether the next threat will come from another patient, a hidden secret, or the institution itself. That uncertainty creates a lingering sense of dread that follows you throughout each episode. Visually, the hospital feels claustrophobic and oppressive. The walls seem to close in on the characters, reinforcing the idea that escape is nearly impossible. Every hallway, room, and interaction contributes to a growing feeling of helplessness. It's a setting that becomes a character in its own right, embodying everything that's wrong with the system. The biggest achievement of Devil in Silver is that it forces viewers to think. Long after the credits roll, the questions remain. How many real-world facilities face similar challenges? How many people are slipping through the cracks? And what happens when the institutions designed to protect us become part of the problem? Whether you're a fan of horror, psychological thrillers, or socially conscious storytelling, The Terror, Devil in Silver offers something worth watching. It's uncomfortable, thought-provoking, and at times genuinely frightening, not because of monsters, but because its central themes feel so real. So, what do you think? Does the terror, Devil in Silver, successfully expose the flaws in the mental health care system, or is its message a little too obvious? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest reviews and recommendations. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.